Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Mondays. It is Marketing Mondays number 56. Actually, today it is May the 9th, 2022. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to take a second. As always, I logged in just slightly early so I could take a second to ping this into the groups. So give me 1 second. I think I have a system down that's working pretty well now. So I hope that doesn't take as long to get this where it needs to be. So I think I've already got it. So anyway, that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you everybody for being here. Good to see you right in the comments right away, David. If you guys have not been here before, real quick, good to see you, Rob. Real quick, I'm going to go through how this works. We take questions from anybody about digital marketing or just marketing in general. We answer those questions online. And basically, if you have a question, you can put it right in the comments. I see it come up right next to my screen, and I can answer that question or offer some clarity about maybe a question I'm already answering. If I haven't answered it in a way you understand, just put it in the comments, and I can get to it right away. We do have questions that come in during the week that we can tee the program off with, but we always try to give priority to the people that are here live. So if you have a question, if you want some additional information about something I'm talking about, put it in the comments. I will be happy to answer it. I see it as soon as it comes up, and I always make a priority to getting to them. So with that, let's get this kicked off because I've got a lot of questions here. Plus, I'm hoping some of you guys put questions in as well. So good to see you, Tim. Good to see you, Christy. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Let's get going. So this first question is about targeting on Facebook, and it talks a little bit about what are some of the mistakes that somebody can make with regard to targeting. I've talked a lot about not just doing Facebook ads or not just doing Google AdWords, but the importance of making sure those things are targeted properly so that you can get the most out of them. And this is asking me, what are some of the mistakes I see because they're working on their targeting and they want to make sure they avoid some pitfalls. So one of the biggest things I think you can make as far as a mistake in targeting is not making sure that your demographic is just people that live there. In both Google and Facebook or Meta, I should really get better about referring to this as Meta. There is an option to choose whether you want to target people that are in that location currently, that live in that location, or have interest in that location. In the Google AdWords area, this is going to be in your settings. It's going to where you set up your geography that you want to cover. I think in the advanced tab, it gives you the ability to select whether it's people that are in this area or people that live in this area. Now, if you're a small business and you're trying to reach people that live in that area, you want to make sure you select the tag, and this goes for both Meta and Google. You want to select the tab of people that live in that area, not just people that are in that area, because you could live in an area where people commute into and they work there and then they leave. So depending on your product or service, if it's dependent upon people that live there, not just people that are commuting or visiting, you want to make sure you choose that so that you're only showing your message to people that are actually potential customers. Now, if your business happened to be somebody that, let's say, is a restaurant that actually wants to sell lunch to people that are commuting in and working in that area, or tourists that are coming in for a particular reason or whatever, you may choose people that are in the area, not people that live in the area. So there are options you can choose. Once you define your geography, you can choose whether you want to hit people that live in that area or people that are just visiting that area. And there's another option, people that are just interested in that area. So that might be something along the lines of, let's say that you had a hotel or something. If somebody was visiting, that it might be a point of interest or something that you offer, like a service or something like that, that you would want to, if somebody's planning a vacation to that area or something like that, you would want to get in front of them and maybe get on their plan of the activities they're going to do. That might be where you would select the option of if somebody's interested in the area. Because if somebody's searching for things about that area, they might not be in the area and they may not live in the area, but you may very well want to put your message in front of them because you may want to make sure that your restaurant is on the list of places they want to try when they're in that area, or your activity is something that they would want to put on their list of things to do when they're in that area. So those are the three options that are available to you and why you might want to choose one versus another. Again, a mistake that I see that a lot of people make is they choose the wrong one, or they haven't chosen at all. They've let it sit where the default is, and maybe the default wasn't the appropriate selection for their business. So they're putting their messaging in front of a lot of people that aren't really relevant to what they're trying to accomplish. So there's a lot of little small things with regard to targeting that I think that you need to pay attention to, or you could end up wasting a lot of money. And I often hear the refrain from a lot of people, like, I've tried, Facebook or Instagram marketing, or I've tried AdWords and it didn't work for me. And I'm not saying this in any way to be disrespectful at all, because some people do a really good job with these things. But I often ask, like, without looking at how you set your campaigns up, it's impossible for me to know why it may not have worked for you. You really have to make sure they're set up properly. And small things like that could have a huge impact on how well your campaigns do, or how badly they do. You may think they're not working because Facebook doesn't work anymore, or Instagram doesn't work, when the reality is you just had it set up improperly. So please pay attention to those small details. That's a common mistake because it defaults to a certain setting, and that certain setting doesn't necessarily mean it's the best setting for what you're trying to accomplish with your ads. So make sure you pay attention to that. And I think, you're going to be avoiding one of the primary pitfalls I see when people are setting up targeting on either Meta, Facebook, Instagram, or Google. So next question is, this is an interesting one. What is the newest ways you're working with Facebook or Meta ads that you are finding effective? This is always, it's constantly changing. We're always talking to people. One of the things that we do internally is I have a weekly meeting with our agency rep at Facebook. So we spend time every single week talking to actually somebody at Facebook whose job is to work with us as an agency to make sure we're apprised of all the new things that are going on, and looking at certain campaigns we've set up and giving us suggestions and things like that. So we do that every single week to keep on top of things. So as I answer this question, I want to preface it by saying this is May 9th, 2022, and these are some of the things we're working on currently. This is bound to change a month from now, 3 months from now, whatever, because what is effective and how you want to do your ads is always, it's a constantly evolving thing. So that being said, what are some of the things we're doing? One of the things we've been trying to do is use Instagram Reels with some clients to sort of try to hack what maybe the ads that are the winners, like sort of prejudge what the ads are that are going to do well, and then put money behind them. And how might that work? So we may want to run an Instagram Reel and just do that organically. And when you do that, you're going to see some of your Instagram Reels, if you're running them, are going to get a lot of views really quickly, and the views just continue to accumulate. And some of them are going to start off slow, and they're just going to stay slow, because a lot of who Instagram shows those Reels to, and even they show them on Facebook, is dependent upon how much activity the post gets. So we allow the organic reach to sort of tell us which ads or which posts, I should say, not ads, because they're not ads at this point, which posts are resonating with people out there in the field. And then we come alongside and we target and we put money behind those specific things, because we've already got an indication organically that people like that post and they're resonating. So we put money behind the ones that people seem to be doing well, and people seem to be responding to. So that's number one. Number two is we're doing a little bit more with carousel ads. And if you're not familiar with carousel ads, it's where you can actually build different panels within your ad set that you can send to different areas of your website. So let's say your company has 3 or 4 or 5 different services. You can literally build out a card for each service that the picture is specific to that service, the description is specific to that service, and there's a learn more button that when they click on that, it takes them directly to that page on your website, that service page on your website. And you can build that out for numerous services. So you could, in one ad, be exposing people to 4 or 5 or 6 different services that your company has. And what Facebook does with the algorithm, which is really interesting, is it starts as the ad's running and it's learning, it starts seeing the different panels or the different cards that people are responding to, and it starts putting a preferential treatment. So basically, it allows the data to show them which one the winners are and which one the losers are, and it starts showing the winners more to get more traction. And what you can do as a marketer is you can go in and you can watch which cards are being responded to and which ones aren't. And if one's not being responded to, you have the ability to go in and edit the ad, change that card out, maybe change out the picture, maybe change out the copy, whatever, but it's basically telling you people aren't responding to that card. You could change it. You could set it up to where it gives a priority to the cards that are, instead of just showing them in order, it gives a priority to the cards that are performing the best. So when you're setting up carousel ads, it really gives you the ability to highlight not just one of your services, but a variety of your services in one ad, and expose people maybe that know you for one thing that you do, expose them to other parts, services that you offer as well in one particular ad. So we're also running with a lot of those. So those are a couple things we're doing right now a lot. The other thing we're doing is just making sure that we are choosing the proper objective. I mean, Facebook and Meta have went through this recent change in how they classify the objectives, and really making sure we're choosing the right objective for the type of ad we're running. Also having your pixels and everything like that properly set up on your website, so you're tracking that so that you can run remarketing ads to people that have responded to previous posts or things like that. So those are all things that are not necessarily new, but we're continuing to do those. You definitely want to make sure that every dollar you're spending on ads is going to the most effective way that it possibly can. And those are some of the ways we're doing that. I think we had some questions come in, so let me take a look at these. Tim asks, I think Robert was asking a question too, but I don't know if I understand it or if he's just trying to be funny with asking a question that's not relevant to marketing. But anyway, Robert, I would say go to an optometrist. I'm not sure what to tell you about your eye. With regard to Tim's question, did you ever look more into Google My Business app going away? I'm not a fan of that happening. Tim, I did look into that a little bit. I think what's happening is just the app that's going away. You still have the ability to go on to your desktop or your laptop or whatever and log into Google My Business even from your phone. The app may be not being serviced as much anymore, but that would be the only thing that's going away. Google business pages aren't going away, and they're not losing their effectiveness. In fact, we're seeing the effectiveness of Google business pages actually even being more so. So I don't think that's going away. I think potentially the only thing about that came up was the app. There may be a specific app function for Android or Apple that's not going to be continued to be serviced or supported. But that doesn't take away the underlying program. And again, you can always log in manually, even from a phone or a desktop or tablet or whatever you have. So hopefully that answers that question, Tim. Definitely the program, I have heard nothing with regard to them taking away their, the Google business platform. And in fact, like I said, I still strongly encourage that as being outside of your website. Like the secondary thing you need to have dialed in as a company is your Google business page. That's how important it is to local SEO and local search traffic. So thanks for that question though, Tim. If I hear anything else, I'll be sure to share it on Marketing Mondays, but I have not heard anything at all with regard to that platform being changed fundamentally. Okay. So, basically, one of the things that's this question's asking about, I just wanted to make sure I fully understood it. Some of the changes to AdWords and what they should be doing to take advantage of those changes to AdWords. A couple different things that AdWords is doing. One of the recent things it's been doing, and this is one of these things isn't new, but they're allowing you to do, picture extensions with your ads. I would highly recommend you going in to your ads and where in the extensions area of your ad, adding relevant pictures to your different ad groups. That's going to help your ads maybe stand out a little bit more from the other ads out there. They've also done away with what they called extended text ads, and they're going more in the preference of responsive text ads, which I think work better. Ultimately, it allows the data from Google to really work to your advantage. So I don't know that that's a negative, but responsive text ads and expanded text ads are they haven't turned them off. If you had them built, they're still continuing to run, but they're not allowing you to build new ones. Which again, when Google does something like that, it typically tells you that the newer thing is probably better for you anyway. Responsive text ads are the way to go. But I'm talking about in the extensions area of the ads you build out, there's display extensions, and that allows you to add pictures depending on the different services or products your particular ads are serving for. That are relevant to that. I would recommend you do that. Something new that's been popping up, and the crazy thing is it's not showing on all AdWords accounts yet, but it's trickling in as we work with different accounts, is responsive display ads. Now, this allows you to actually create really cool. It allows you to add pictures about a particular product or service. It allows you to add headlines. It allows you to add descriptions. It allows you to have your logo in there. And what Google does is it's actually using this as a display ad and being responsive, using their data to serve up the right combination of pictures and descriptions and headlines to attract the most people. So this is brand new. They're really not promote. It's kind of tough. You kind of have to stumble across it, like you're going to add a new ad, and you'll see the option for this responsive display ad, and you can build that out. But I really didn't notice that they did any big push to tell people that these were going to become available. But we've just stumbled across noticing that they're available and begun building them out for our clients when they become an option. And I think they show. I'm excited about them because I think that gives another option for you to have something where you're utilizing the data and the algorithm from Google to put your ads in front of the right people and put the right mix of ads and photos in front of the right people to get the best response. And that's the ultimate goal, right? To get the most return on investment or the most response to your ads for the money that you're spending. And I think this gives you another ability to do that. So with regard to Google AdWords, display extensions, image extensions, as I apologize, image extensions is what I meant to say earlier. And responsive display ads are two things. If you haven't been in your Google AdWords and made tweaks lately, those are two things I'd be going in there and looking to build out in the coming, couple weeks, because I think, they're going to help your ads just perform more effectively. So hopefully that helped on that question. I think I got another question here from, I got two questions, but from Liz, I have I noticed on Facebook for me on my window tinting queen pages, since I'm almost at 10K followers, Facebook is showing my posts more. I'm getting way more organic views and interactions. How many followers do these businesses have that you are managing? It depends, Liz. I always say to people, depending on what you're doing and where you're, again, what you're trying to do, obviously you're trying to build a bigger following that's outside of just your regional area. But if you're a small business, it really doesn't matter if you have a large following, if those people don't have the ability to take advantage of your service. So if you're in New Jersey and you have people that are liking your page in Nevada, that's great. They may like your posts and you may get more organic reach and things like that. But if your product is a local product that you only service people locally, it really doesn't matter that somebody in Las Vegas likes your page. So it really depends a lot. If I'm working with a national brand, which we do, we're trying to get as much reach as we possibly can. Some of our clients have on Instagram on the national side have over 500,000 followers. So, obviously we do a post for them and we will get, hundreds and hundreds of organic likes on those posts because they have, that would just be an average post. I mean, a good post, maybe 3,000-4,000 likes because they have over 500,000 people following the page. So, it's all relative, but that's a national brand that they want to get, more national attention. Again, when we're working with a localized brand, I try to focus them more on, hey, it really doesn't matter if we just build likes, if those likes aren't relevant to your market area. So in those areas, I think we get better results when we're doing very paid targeted ads in their regional area. And we don't try to focus on likes per se or comments per se, and if those aren't relevant, just because to a certain extent, at that point, we're using Facebook as an advertising platform. We're really not trying to use it to gain just widespread organic reach. We're trying to be very targeted and use it the same way you would have in the past used a magazine or the radio or the newspaper or television or whatever the case may be. So I hope that answers your question. Certainly, if you're trying to build a national follower and even a global following, the more people you have following your page, the better. And more so than that, if you can get people reacting to your content. So if you have a big following, but you post something and not a lot of people respond to it, then it doesn't matter how many people you have following it. Meta or Facebook, Instagram is going to somewhat bury that post. When you first post something, it's important that you get response relatively quickly in the form of likes or comments or things like that, or they just sort of bury that post and it doesn't get a lot of comments. So it's, again, Liz, it sounds like you're posting things people want to see and you're getting more organic content. And as that goes, the momentum sort of takes it to more people. But I do know that you're trying to reach more people than just a regional thing. What you're trying to do with that page is more widespread than just your localized business. So again, it's different objectives. You really have to understand the first question you need to ask with regard to any marketing is what am I trying to achieve with my marketing? Once you answer that, then the tactics or the strategies or the platforms you use to reach that objective are going to be different depending on what you're trying to do. So anyway, hopefully that helps with that. Tim, I think this is a follow-up to what I was talking about earlier with Google Business. They say everything will move over to Map. So you'll log into Maps to control your business page. That may happen on the app for sure, Tim. They may change that to make that more streamlined. They haven't been pushing people on desktop. We do a lot of work, obviously, here in the office on desktop, and we log into our clients' pages on desktop, and we haven't noticed them pushing us to switch to a different way to log in or anything. We always still just log in under the Google Business Manager, and we do all the management from there, and they haven't really been pushing us to change from that. So I don't know if their ultimate goal is to do that on desktop as well. They very well might be doing that on the mobile apps and things like that, but we haven't seen that on desktop yet, and that's where we spend most of our time. But I'll have to take a look into that on the mobile side and play around with that a little bit more. Again, most of what we do isn't through an app on mobile, so I haven't noticed that yet. Liz also asked, I thought if the ad gets more organic interactions, people even in your local area will see the post without you having to pay for it. That may be true, Liz. If you get more interactions, Facebook's going to show it, or Instagram is going to show it to more people. So it's probably going to get more. It's probably going to get more organic reach as well with the people that follow your page locally. That's certainly the case. I guess my point of saying that is because of what we do, I often ask like our clients is, does it concern you how many likes a post gets or something like that? Is it like, we call those internally like vanity metrics? Are those vanity metrics important to you? Because if they are, there's ways that we can run an ad or whatever that you would get a ton of likes or something like that. So do you want like, do you want an ad? Like, again, it's back to your objective. Do you want to get in front of as many people as you possibly can? Or do you want a lot of people to like your post? Those are two different objectives, and you would run an ad two completely different ways. Now, in your case, you're talking about organically. So if somebody in Las Vegas is liking your post, somebody in your local market may see it as well, because they're going to show that ad to more people. So you may get a little bit more expanded reach that way. However, unless you're offering a service or a product or e-commerce or something like that to somebody that's halfway across the country, the fact that somebody there likes your post really doesn't benefit your business. And again, when I'm working with a lot of our clients that are running localized businesses, we're really not trying to get too hung up on that part of it as much as we are trying to convert for their local business, make their phone ring more, get them more leads, just more tactical type things that don't really necessarily relate to how, and a lot of our clients, we are doing paid advertising. So yes, we are utilizing organic to do things like I talked about a little bit earlier with trying to pick winners on certain posts, but we're not relying on organic in order to, for the success of their posts. We're putting a post up, and typically within 15 minutes of a post going live, we are then coming behind it and doing a paid ad on it. So we are going to get it in front of the right people. Whatever the organic reach that post is going to get, we are going to get it in front of the right people by targeted advertising. So I hope that answers that. It's definitely, like I said, Liz, it's a little bit of a different objective thing, because like I said, we do have clients that do want to reach as large of a national or a global audience as we can, and with their organic, and again, I mean, they're starting with a much bigger number. So again, if I post something on one of their pages that has 500,000 followers and we only get 350 likes, that's actually not a great post. Obviously, as a numbers game, I mean, that's not I have other clients that have 4,500 followers, and we do a post and they get 400 likes, and it's all organic. So to me, they're getting about 10% of the people that follow their page to like a post. That's a pretty strong engagement, where if I get 1,500 people to like a post on a client that's got a 500,000 followers, that's a pretty poor engagement, for a post with that many followers. So again, it really depends. I mean, I always say the numbers, when you start talking about likes and things like that, are very subjective depending on what you're talking about and what you're trying to achieve. It's one of the reasons we sort of call them vanity metrics, because you can have metrics that look really great, vanity metrics that really look great, and they're not adding anything to your underlying business. Our goal whenever we work with a client is to add to their underlying business, to give them a return on the investment they're making with us and with their ad buy. So we really look at vanity metrics as like, if we get the vanity metrics, that's great, but it really doesn't matter. If we don't get if we don't get good vanity metrics at all, but the ads are working, that's great. That's actually more what we would be happy about than getting a ton of vanity metrics and the ads not working. So I think we've got maybe time to sneak one more in. It's we're right up against half hour, but let me see if I can find a small one. Let me see real quick. I got one that's just a really quick thing that's definitional. So let me grab that. It says, what are backlinks? Just a really quick question. What are backlinks? Backlinks are links on other websites that link back to your website. So if it's like, say you're a member of the Better Business Bureau and your local chamber of the Better Business Bureau has a listing for your company on their website that actually has a link to your website, that would be considered a backlink. If you're part of the Chamber of Commerce or the manufacturer of the products you represent has a locator for their dealers on their website, and they have a link on there back to your website. That is a backlink. So backlinks are good. Google actually likes relevant backlinks, like backlinks that are actually associated with your business and they're from relevant companies. That actually helps the SEO on your website. So you want to get as many backlinks from relevant sources like Better Business Bureau, Chamber of Commerce, your manufacturer, things like that. You want to get as many of those as you can because that actually helps your SEO. Now, there also are backlinks from just garbage companies that are just like they create these websites that just have backlinks on them and they sell backlinks. And that's sort of what's considered black hat SEO. And Google actually frowns upon that. So if you're just building backlinks from non-relevant sites back to your website, that actually could turn around and actually hurt you. So don't get it twisted. There's literally two types of backlinks. There's good backlinks, which are building those out from relevant websites and just one at a time, adding new backlinks to your website, and that's going to help your SEO. Don't fall into any trap, though, of a company trying to sell you backlinks, because if you get the wrong type of backlinks to your website, it can actually hurt your SEO. So backlinks are important, though. So if you can get good relevant ones, make sure you're getting them. If you have listings on these other company sites, always make sure to ask if they give you an option to provide a link to your website, always do that. That's going to be a backlink to your company's website. It's going to be good for you. Let me just see. I just saw a couple things come in. So Liz was just following up with something. And absolutely, Liz, just give me a ring when you can. You know how to reach me. And David says, would you almost say a backlink is almost the same as someone sharing your page or link from a page that is not, it's not from its origin, just like someone sharing something. Yeah, absolutely. The biggest difference about that, David, though, is when it comes to SEO or search engine optimization, where your website shows up when people are searching for products or services by typing in keywords to Google, the more backlinks your website has, the better it can impact where your company is going to show up in those search engine rankings. So backlinks are super valuable, especially if they're backlinks from reputable sites, from manufacturer sites, from a magazine website that actually cites you guys in an article or something like that and links your website. Anything like that that's a relevant and a reputable website that backlinks to your website is going to help your SEO. And I would say gather as many of those as you can, but don't go into the side of paying for backlinks that are from non-relevant sites, because that is not a good practice to get into. So anyway, went a little bit over answering that backlink question, but I think it was good information. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. Again, if you have any questions, send them in during the week to me. I'm easy to find online, Patric Fransko. You can reach me on any of the social media platforms. Send me a DM, things like that. We'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have an awesome week. It's supposed to, we're heading into spring full speed now. So hopefully you guys are off to a good start to the season. And I hope to talk to you guys next week. And thank you again for tuning in. Take care. Bye.